I'm Patrick Avard. You guys know me as Cheer Music Pro. I am the music producer behind Cheer Extreme Senior Elite, and this is my third year producing their mix. So the creative process for me starts really early, sometimes even before the previous season ends. I'm constantly thinking of ideas, ways that we can try to innovate, ideas and concepts for music, for lyrics, for things that will get the crowd interacting, concepts for songs, things that tell the story, because everything that you hear in the music is something that we've created originally. There's no samples and there's nothing that we've taken from anyone else. So in many cases we create something, and then if we like it, we run with it and develop it. If we don't like it, we scrap it and we create something different. Once I start getting the ideas and writing down words and phrases and concepts, then I start bringing in my creative team. I have multiple songwriters and different voiceover writers, and I start sitting down and talking with them, and I start telling them, like, hey, this is what I want. This is what I want this song to feel like, and this is what I want this song to feel like, and we just start developing it. So the one thing that I would like the audience to know that I don't think maybe they aren't aware of or don't have any knowledge of is how many different people are involved and affect and influence the musical production, which is only 2.5 minutes long.
I'm Amore Jones, and I'm the creative director for Cheer Music Pro.
Hey guys, my name is Joey Casanova. I'm the production coordinator for Cheer Music Pro.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony Arasi, and I am the chief engineer and lead technical advisor for Cheer Music Productions and New Level Music. And what that entails is everything you can imagine in the studio. So basically I record artists, I mix music, mix production, beats, instrumentals, help with arrangements, and that sort of thing to help create all the mixes that you guys know and love from our companies.
I've been doing music pretty much all my life since I was about 5 years old, doing piano lessons. And I played through various bands, from symphonic band in high school and touring rock bands, and then also did a lot of studio work doing like hip hop and pop productions. I have worked with many artists here in Atlanta, from Young Jock to Yin Yang Twins, T-Pain.
My main job is to help Pat curate all the music and get the best of sounds.
Usually I come into the process when we have instrumentals and vocals completed for most of the mix. And at that point, my job is to either record the actual vocals based off of the demos that have been written, what we call references, where the songwriter records something for the vocalist who's actually performing to perform. So I get involved after that's been completed. I start recording the vocalists, and then my job from there is to mix and balance out everything they do and their production, which entails things like auto-tune on vocals, things like effects, reverbs, delays, all this other fancy stuff that most normal humans have no concept of. And from there, we go in and create the music. I mean, we create different bits of content, and I'm involved at every step of that pretty much until the day of the mix, which is my final step, where I come in and do a bit of post-production on the mixes as they're completed. So I will balance the sounds that are in there, level everything out, make sure it sounds coherent and cohesive, like a fully fleshed out piece of material. We actually begin production on these mixes months in advance from the date at which they'll actually be completed. So we will typically begin recording vocals and producing instruments for these mixes months and months in advance. I mean, if we complete a mix, say in September, we may be doing work on that mix in June or July in some cases. So we do a lot of our production and our post-production well in advance of the actual mix day, which the actual mix itself takes a day to complete. But the amount of work we do in preparation for that one day of completion, gathering content, writing, recording vocals, producing instrumentals, revisions on all those things in case we need to change things, all of that takes time, and it's a very important thing to get right in the process, because the easier we can make the pre-production, the easier the day of production goes, and then the post-production that follows. Anyone who works in entertainment or anything like this will tell you that pre-production is everything. A lot of you coaches who are building routines, I know you think the same way, right? The more preparation you do in advance of your routine, the better it looks. These are obvious things, but it's very relevant in music as well.
The idea is so that whenever I get to the day of creating the mix, I have all of the pieces all the pieces to put together, but I don't really have any idea exactly where they're going to go. So I develop all these pieces, and I have all these ideas, all the different ideas that we have for Senior Elite, and and then that way I get to the day of the mix, and I look at the video. I take the video, and that's why we have teams perform to an 8-count track. So we take that video and we bring it into the session, and we mute the sound, and we literally start creating the music to the video and to the performance. Whenever I finish a mix, I work on it all day long, sometimes hours and hours and hours. I like to get an early start in the morning, so I'm typically up working on my mix at 6 a.m. Sometimes I don't finish until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night or even later. It just depends on how well the project comes together and how complicated it is, But when I get finished, I usually cannot wait to deliver it to the client. In this case, I can't wait to deliver it to Courtney. I want to see what their reaction is. I mean, I've been sitting there listening to the music over and over and over all day, and I know how I feel about it. Because I was obviously involved in the creating of it. But in a lot of cases, the client has no idea what it sounds like. So I usually cannot wait to surprise them and hear their reaction and get some feedback and see what they like, or even if what they didn't like, if there's something that they don't like. But the exciting part for me is whatever the first competition I get to go to is. Usually it's either the majors or NCA. I typically go and attend those, and that will usually be the first time that I actually get to see the performance and see the routine live. I've only seen it on video in my studio as I've been working on it and things of that nature, or if someone sends me a video when they compete or they showcase their first performance. Last year we took our whole entire production team to the majors because I wanted them, they work behind the scenes. In most cases, they're not cheerleading people. So I wanted them to go to an event, and I wanted them to see what it was like, and I wanted them to see the energy in the room and understand how impactful it is.
One of my favorite parts of the season is always going to competitions, and that's for a number of reasons. Primarily, myself and members of the production team go to competitions for technical reasons. We actually want to hear how things sound in the arena and in different arenas, particularly because obviously NCA, Worlds, all these major competitions have different arenas, different sound rigs, different setups, different people working these different sound rigs. So on our end, we have to think about how do we do our job as efficiently as possible while still making sure that everywhere you listen to our work, it sounds phenomenal and it's the top quality that it can be.
Any musician or artist or writer, producer, all we want to do is have our music played and enjoyed and listened to. And I felt like that was a very important thing to do, to be able to take my team there and show them how much it's enjoyed and show them how much the fans and the audience in the arena, reacts and responds to what we've created. Something like last year at NCA and Worlds, I was there in attendance live, and hearing the fan base sing along with the different teams, and in particular Senior Elite stunt sequence, it was just impactful to me. I mean, it really was. I was blown away. Because that was something that I wrote, and I wrote it by myself sitting in the studio, and had no idea that was going to be the reaction, and that's how it was going to come across. So that was really, really meaningful, because that's stuff like that is the reason that I still do this after 20 years.
We have arrived now. A fire deep inside is burning bright. Now, no backing down tonight. Let's stand and fight. Now, our hearts are aligned. Now, no one can deny we have arrived.
We hope you've enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at Cheer Extreme Senior Elite's music. You can check it out at the YouTube page, youtube.com/cheermusicpro. We hope you love it. We hope you enjoy it this season, and we hope to hear you singing along at all the competitions.